Welcome to the Succeed with Software podcast, brought to you by SuiteDash. Today's episode is from one of the bi-weekly Q&A webinars. To participate live, just follow the link in the description to sign up and submit your questions. Be sure that you're subscribed on YouTube and following us on all social media to get the latest videos and updates about new and existing features. All right, so let's get started. Welcome everyone. Welcome to the SuiteDash Q&A webinar. It's Tuesday, July 4th, 2023. This is Mike. I am the founder and CEO of SuiteDash. Happy 4th of July to those out there. I don't think there's going to be a big turnout today, so I'm planning on treating this something like a live support session. So for those of you guys that are here, we might find out quite a bit about each other over the course of the next bit. So let me get you to jump into the chat. That'll let me know that you know where the chat is and that you can hear my voice. And I've just enabled that. So also let me know where you're joining from. Hi Quentin, how are you? Where are you joining us from, Quentin? I know it's the 4th of July there. The question is, does that really mean anything? My wife and kids are out of town visiting the in-laws, and so I am relaxing in home office today, keeping my schedule. Dominique from Connecticut, how are you? Does that make you a New York City commuter, or happy there in Connecticut all the time? Quentin from the Netherlands, yeah. Okay, yep. Well, that's the way it is. I understand. We're a very international platform, so depending on the day, there could be people from all over the world, including we also have a team in the Australia time zone as well, so that's completely the other side of the world. Okay, so what we'll do today, guys, there's only a few here. Some others joining a little bit later here. Someone jumping in now. Just let me. Hi there, Cindy. Thanks for joining us. Just making sure you know where the chat is, Cindy. If you'll jump in and just let us know where you're joining from. But as I was just kind of getting started, it's a holiday here, and so we're just going to take this really informally and make sure that whatever questions you guys have, I will do my very best to. Hi, Cindy from Arizona. Thanks for joining us. Okay. Well, I think what we'll do is we'll dispense with the normal webinar Q&A flow, which let me change my screen here, and just make sure that all your questions are answered to the best of my ability. So I have some questions here in front of me. Let me make sure that whoops. Well, like I said, we're getting to know each other. All right, here we go. So I see Quentin, but didn't know questions, and I see Dominique, but no questions. So I guess we'll get to the questions here. So what questions do you guys have that I can help you with? Or if you're just looking for, okay, Quentin, you did put in a question. I didn't see it. I didn't make it through somehow. Let me go to another interface. We have a zap that zaps through the questions from the scheduler. And I have some, but I don't see yours, but I will try to jump in and just find it really quickly. There we go, Cindy. That's the question that I expect every time. So let me do my best to handle it in the best way I can. Okay. What business are you in, Cindy? What niche? And Cindy's asking, where do we start? What's the best way to set it up? First steps. Cindy, have you started in the academy, SuiteDash Academy? And then Quentin, if you have your question, that would really help if you could somehow drop it in for us. And let me just try to get straightened out here. If I can find it, I will bring it to. Not yet. Will this week? I'm in the consulting business. Okay, Cindy. Let me go ahead and start. And if I'm distracted a little bit, but I think I can do this with even the distraction. The thing about SuiteDash, we are not a niche specific platform, and therefore there really is not a perfect step 1, step 2, step 3 that applies to everyone. So in general, it will depend somewhat on your workflow. And what I can say is that the most obvious place that you would want to start is the CRM, is to start getting your clients into the CRM. But the important part is that what makes SuiteDash different is the construction, the foundational construction that has to do with automation. Okay, so what I will say is probably you have a website that you have a form on your website where when someone fills out the form, it will send an email. That's pretty standard, right? And you get the email and you say, okay, so this person is interested in my in my services. Okay, and so then you have to respond and get back and make sure and try to get that person heading down your funnel, heading down your process. What we try to do is step in front of that process, give you the tools that you need to automate that entire client journey as much as possible. Okay, so in general, the best place you want to start is to start trying to categorize your clients. But we'll just start with one. If you say have like 3 different types of clients, let's just start with client description A, okay? And I will just kind of talk about this. I have these. Yeah, perfect, okay. Well, this is from a video that you can find in the Academy, but I would just go ahead and use it because it's right here with me. So when that person lands on your website, we call them an unknown target. That's what we call that person because we don't know anything about them. We don't know how to think about them. If they leave, we have no information about them. So our main goal is to get them to fill out what we call a kickoff form, which will categorize them based on your configuration and direct them to some custom funnel that you define and design. Okay? So you can categorize clients differently based on their responses to the kickoff form. And then in your case, like I've said before, if you have client type A, type B, type C that are different revenue paths, you can categorize them based on their responses and then automatically direct them into this funnel. And when I say funnel, what I mean is they'll receive a unique email. They'll receive a unique a welcome email. They will follow that to the portal. They would enter the portal. When they enter the portal, they'll see conceivably, if you configure everything right, they'll see a different dashboard, a different menu, a different presentation, depending on how they were categorized. So imagine now that this unknown target lands on your current website, which has none of this. Let's reverse it because it's more fun that way. Let's say this unknown target lands on your competitor's website, which has none of this automation. They just have a form that sends an email to that person who runs that website. And then now versus your website where you have a predefined automated categorization and first actions already set up. The same unknown target fills out a form at both websites. In the first 10 minutes of the experience with your company, they have a multi-step process that will be delivered to them, and as a result, you have now really impressed this potential client. They're 1, 2, 3 levels down in your funnel, and as In contrast to your competitor, there's an email sitting in an email inbox that probably is not even read yet, right? So no response, no interaction, just maybe an email coming from that first form where they say, thanks for filling out our form. I'm going to be with you in a minute. Okay. Guess who's going to win that business? That's you. You're going to win. Okay. So this is just the very surface scratch of what SuiteDash is designed to do for you. As we continue, I don't want to get into this, but let's go here. What SuiteDash is designed to do for you is take that unknown target, introduce them into your funnel, categorize them properly, and set them on an automation, what we call an automation slide. Okay. We are conscious that you cannot automate an entire business in most cases. Humans need to be involved. We get that. We call that a checkpoint, a human interaction checkpoint. So what we also provide is auto templates, which are sets of automations that you predefine. And our processes, we encourage you to create checkpoints where you or someone in your staff can make a decision based on what they see between scenarios A, B, and C, or 6 scenarios, or 2 scenarios, or whatever it is. Create an auto template that is specific to each one of those scenarios, so that the human will only need to take, let's call it a case, or a target, assess that target, and decide, okay, they've landed here at my checkpoint. Do they fit scenario A, B, or C? If they fit scenario B, they run 4 clicks. I think it's 4 clicks exactly to apply scenario B to this target, and that auto template is designed to get them back on an automation slide, so that now the ball's in their court. They need to execute 1, 2, 3, 4 things before they land in another checkpoint, etc. And this is just a basic structure that all the tools here are here to streamline your business as much as a business can possibly be streamlined, and where automations are not possible 100% because of human decision necessity, the auto templates give that. Once the decision is made, the auto templates step in and give you a 4-click solution to the next steps. And then if you do this work, right, and you do this work and design this and understand this, you might find that you have a lot of extra time in the day, because your job lives right here and lives right here, and the platform does the rest. Okay, so that's a very short description of what you should be hoping to achieve. Okay, so what you need to do next is decide what does my workflow look like, and one good way to do that is start with that contact form. Another good way to do that is just sketch it out. Just say, okay, then they need to do this, then they need to do that. They need to sign a document. They need to pay an invoice. So you see here that you're pro bono, but you are interest set up, so you're not sending out invoices. Okay, that's great. So here's the question. So you want to automate your invoicing. Good. We have great tools for that, Cindy, but how do you define, is a good question here, the pricing of your services? Because this will be a little bit important here. You're going to need to automate. You're going to need to find a way to make a pricing table, essentially a pricing structure that can be replicated over and over again. Arbitrary does not fit well into automation. So think about it in terms of that, and once you get your pricing structure, then you can start to think about using things like invoice generators, and I'll do a quick overview of invoice generators. There's a great video in the Academy about invoice generators. So generators are designed, they are not invoices, they're designed to create invoices, okay? And they there's 3 different types for 3 different scenarios and situations. And inside the generator, you define the, well, depending on the type, but in an on-demand generator, you're going to define the items. Okay, so you can create static items or you can create dynamic items. Dynamic items can be overwritten with data from another source, including a custom field, and this can all happen in an automation. So in an automation, if you say, okay, when the person takes this action or when this action happens, when this automation is triggered, I want you to trigger this on-demand invoice generator, and in that moment, this generator is going to create an invoice using these placeholders as the title, using these items. Static items will be printed immediately on the invoice. Dynamic items will, in the automation, you will define if and how these dynamic items would be overwritten or replaced with the values, like the quantity, the rate. These things can be changed in the automation. So in that moment, we'll be looking at that automation and say, okay, for this target, what the value should be. These would be plugged in dynamically, and the total would change based on the dynamic values here, and the invoice would be printed, is a good way to say it, and it would end up in the invoice list assigned to the target of that automation, whoever that was. And every time that automation is triggered as a part of a funnel, right? So let's go back to this. Every time a target runs through your automation, their name is different every time, their identity is different every time, but the action is the same every time, right? Depending if through a specific funnel. That's not the same for everybody, but what I mean is you can build 20 different funnels, and based on their categorization and the way that they're moving through your automation, they run into a specific automation which calls a specific on-demand generator that's applicable to that specific scenario, and all these things happen just as you designed it. And that is how you can not send out invoices. Now this is a pretty fancy and complex, I wouldn't call it complex, but it's just powerful is a good word for it. Recurring invoice generators do just what you might think, is if you have a situation where you need to bill somebody $200 or $2,000 a month, it will literally print an invoice every month for $2,000 that can send to them by email, and they can pay it. If you want automatic payments, you can do subscription plans and subscriptions. That's like your Netflix subscription. So there's a lot of powerful billing and invoicing tools, all designed to be used in automations. Okay, so some of this stuff, this generator idea, you might not have seen that before. Okay, and I think it's likely you haven't seen it before. SuiteDash is built from the ground up to be used as an automation and systems processes tool, which means you can define workflows without actually defining the person's first name and last name. You can categorize that person and move and create a funnel that's designed for that type of client that fits your description, your type description, which we usually control by circles. And then you can run 100 people through it, and it'll do the same thing for all 100 people. Without mistakes, without time, without your adminning sitting at a desk trying to edit proposals and create invoices and send them out. So once you build the workflow, you test it, and you're sure it's working just like you want, then it's just a matter of dropping the person into the top of it using a kickoff form, using a manual add, an import if that's what you would do. But kickoff form is the most common. Okay, in the consulting business, so I'm assuming you bill by the hour, Cindy. And Quentin, I'm still trying to look for your question. Okay. Sorry, Quentin. We just started these webinars back up after a break of a few months. Gosh, if I said I had your question now, would you be upset? Chris said, okay, I see it now. I just found it after I was able to take a break after talking to Cindy. Sorry. Well, at least you've solidified in your mind exactly what your question was. Sorry. Really quick, let me finish with Cindy, I think, here, or try to continue, and then we'll switch gears and answer your question, Quentin. I have it right in front of me. Okay. Cindy says, I have a PDF contract I'm not permitted to alter. Okay. It would be next to impossible for me to build in SuiteDash so it looks exactly the same. That's true. Well, maybe true. Any ideas about what can be done? So it's a PDF. Well, so you could use the PDF signing process. Let's go to Documents. Office Documents. Now, there is a little bit of a disclaimer here to use PDFs in your document signing that it requires the Prime power-up. And I'm not here. I need to be in Document Template. Sorry. So what you would do as with the Prime power-up, you would be able to create a PDF template. And I'm not saying that this will solve your needs. I just want to make sure you're aware of it, Cindy. And you upload the PDF here, and then you would drag and drop signature boxes, title box, dates, those kind of things. Same as you would see in any document signing. Don't 100% know that I have a PDF that's fit for public consumption available when I click this button, so I need to put that on my list to have available. But so yes, you can use a PDF. This does require the Prime bundle power-up for PDF signing. But you can't. You would have a tough time, agreed, using the HTML, what we call HTML template processing. But the good thing about the template using the block editor, and if you can't alter it, this is sort of a moot point, but there's super powerful possibilities here because we're doing everything dynamically on the fly. And just so everyone else is aware, you could make multi-row documents. And in fact, maybe if you have sections of documents that are applicable to some of your clients but not applicable to others, you can show or hide entire rows of the document based on circle affiliation. Okay, so you could set circles for type A, type B, type C of your different types of clients. And if this row that contains this particular language is not applicable for circle B, we just go into hide for circles, choose circle B, whatever it is. And when this template is used to create a document for that particular person, right, as the target in an automation, again, we can do this in automation, it will look at the target and say, okay, well, they're in circle B. Let's not use this section as we generate the document. So as the document is generated, of course all the placeholders are filled based on the target's data, but also the show hides of the sections and the columns and all the things that are here are assessed against that target as well. Yes, you can add custom placeholders, absolutely. That's what these are. Every one of these is a custom placeholder. You can add placeholders for all sorts of different entities. Most specifically, typically you'll be using contact placeholders, which is either your target or a company, depending on if you are targeting companies or contacts. There is a video in the Academy, to explain this. So can you add a new custom? Of course. Absolutely, yeah. So all these are derived from custom fields. So when I show you company public here, this is just, there's some defaults, but there's this one, this one, this one. This is very easy. In fact, I would venture to say that you would not find a more robust custom field implementation just about anywhere. So here's custom fields. You can create the name of the custom field, the prompt/description, the usage. Look at all the different usages. We have project custom fields, work request, organization, which is you, company, public and private. Private is only available and visible to the primary contact. This is contacts, staff. You can even onboard your staff. So yes, very much so. Custom fields are a enormous part of the platform, and I'll even continue, and then we're going to jump to Mr. Quentin, who's being very patient. Thank you, Quentin. So let me go back to this. Remember the dynamic invoicing, right, Cindy? The on-demand. I'm breaking my rule. I usually just search. Okay. So, I believe this was dynamic. Yes. Okay. So this on-demand invoice generator has dynamic items. I selected it, and now look, this is set up for a little bit different of a application than you might be used to. But look, this automation, this was designed to be triggered after the submission of a form, okay? And on that form were these custom fields related to how many tables would you like. Guess what? You can adjust the dynamic item that I showed you on the on-demand invoice generator based on the answer that was given in that form. So here, if I say, all right, quantity, I want you to populate with how many tables, their answer to how many tables for the target, whoever that is, whatever. If client A put 6, then he'll see 6. Client B said 8, he'll see 8. And then same thing with the rate. So if you say, additional chairs. So the rate you can set here. So if they say I want 8 tables, it'll be $10. They'll get charged $80 for the table. But anyway, I think we can continue. There's a good video on this as well on YouTube. I can identify it for you. But the custom fields are not only used for replacing documents. We even use them. This is a number-based custom field. We even use them as for data, to change data, move data, adjust data, calculate data even. When we go to the custom fields, one of the types I didn't tell you about was, if I go to contacts, the type, even calculating, okay? And in a calculating custom field, you can even create complex math equations that will do math derived from the values of other custom fields. So there you go. So you have a custom field that calculates from the value of other custom fields. So yeah, we're thinking about this. Needless to say, this is a very, very big part of our platform. And one thing that I think is quickly I should say, that SuiteDash is not like other software that I'm familiar with and in the past. It's really like an operating system. It really allows you to, it's like software. It's like an operating system / software for your business that allows you to develop and define workflows that are very custom to how you work, right? It's not a machine with instructions like, this is how you use it, you must use it like this. It's not like that at all. It's a very flexible, powerful set of tools that you say, okay, I need to, which is a little bit intimidating at first, and that's why you'll see something like our tagline: "Do the work, get your life back." Because we're not trying to kid you around, but we also say we'll help you, and we try to make sure that we're here to say, wipe your brain clean and come into this and just really start to learn the concepts. Because then what you'll say is, oh, so now this part of this workflow of my business, I can use this tool and it'll work just like I want. And you know what? If it doesn't work just like you want, that's the other great thing about our company and our community, is that we respond very quickly and positively to community request as much as we can. In fact, our entire development is guided by it. Okay? All right. Quentin, I'm going to reward, hopefully, your patience. All right. Quentin says, and let me share the chat so everybody can see. He says, I made my question a bit more clear, so good. I'll just use this one. I'm currently in the process of creating contracts and making them as dynamic as possible. In my business, I have multiple services, so it makes it a bit complicated. So clients want multiple services. Kickoff form. Step 1, one of my employees puts in the client information using staff submit, I hope, Quentin. That's great. The employee selects the services we provide. Yes. The employee puts in dynamic questions and prices. Good. Now, how I would like to have it is a conditional logic like this. Make one big contract with multiple chapters for each service depending on the services. Yes, we talked about that's possible. I'm not saying that it will be possible in your scenario, but using these circles visibility that I was showing earlier in the documents generator or the document template, yes, you can show hide sections, but your trick will then be to categorize the clients into a specific circle or circles to accomplish that. But let's keep going. Now that the contract has been made dynamic and the client has received its invitation to my portal, okay. Step 6, clients can only see the contract. Okay, we can accomplish that. Client signs the contract and now has been locked into the dynamic intake form. I've already created this. Okay, I hope you get kind of go on trying to. All right, let me back up and ask him some questions. Okay, I would start here. Yes, a kickoff form with staff submit. So, for the benefit of everyone here, yes, we have kickoff forms. Yes, we have update forms. We have forms of different types that have different descriptions, which you can learn about in the documentation. But what's really awesome is we also have staff submit. So you can use the staff submit option to fill out a form as a client. Or what's also very clever is you can create a kickoff form specifically intending that it's for your staff. So imagine you create a kickoff form that's specifically for your phone staff, right? For initial calls. And they say, what service are you interested in? I'm interested in consulting. Okay, 1 second. And they use a bookmark on their browser to open this link. It's a static link. It never changes. They open this link, and now they have a guide. Okay, I want you to, can I get your first and last name, sir? Boom, boom. Can I get this? Can I get that? You can even put in HTML in between these, like content, like scripts between the questions. And so now you have a guided phone answering intake framework that never fails, that they never forget anything. You always get all the information. And when you submit it, all the same automations that you can associate with a kickoff form, you can already have configured, and boom, they are straight down the automation slide immediately from the second the person submits the form. Even while you're still on the phone with them, they can receive an email, starting them. So you got to train your phone people to say, all right, sir, so if you would check your email, you should have already received an email with the next instructions. Yes, I've already received it. Wow, that's impressive. I want to do business with you. Right? Okay. So staff submit. That's what I wanted to point out. So in staff submit, step 2, employee selects the services we provide. That will happen here. This is where you're stuck, I think. Good, Quentin. But selecting the services you will provide might be. You got that already. So you use circles, then I'm guessing, to define that. Somehow you're using circles to identify that, or maybe custom fields. All right, I'm gonna go back to. You got that one. Step employee puts dynamic questions and prices. Okay, dynamic questions and prices. Okay, those are custom fields, and you're populating an invoice with those custom fields. Let's try to do without that, Quentin, because I'm completely solo today. Most of the time I have help, but everyone is off, and I'm just working to stay on schedule here. Okay, so you're using custom fields with dynamic. Now I would like to have is conditional logic like this: one big contract and multiple chapters for each service, depending on the service. Okay, so here's your trick. You want to assign circles based on the services selected. So how are you defining the services? And is it by circles? That would be one question I need to get the answer to know where to go next. With radio buttons. Okay, so it is a custom field. They are custom fields just of radio type. Okay. Well, Cindy, it is. It is a group of circles, but it's also a way of typing people. So the way we try to think of it is, imagine this customer or this client is the type of client who bought service A, or the type of client that bought service B. So it maybe not is just traditional. Like it's not just, you can have 20 circles on a client. Maybe one circle is only about trying to direct them properly on their entry, and that's its only job. And then you have another circle that's about trying to tell the system what services they purchased, and other circles that are about which files they have access to. Sometimes you can use the same circles for these things, but sometimes you'll see that oh, you know what? Let me just create a new circle that's its only job is to tell me yes or no. Does this client fit in this particular description that I'm trying to target now? So yeah, you'll find that you'll use multiple circles. We like to think of them as wristbands that you get at a concert, right? So it's a circle, it's a band, it goes around your wrist, and as your clients are coming through, you're just going to look at their wristbands. The system looks at all the wristbands and says, okay, you have permissions for X, Y, Z, and A, B, C. Okay, good. This way, sir. I know right where to take you based on that combination. Yeah. Thank you. I can't take credit for that. That's one of our employees came up with that, and I was like, that's perfect. And with the logic, yes. Exactly. And with the logic, add more questions to form. But you can do that, Quentin. Logic, add more questions to form. Yeah, there's conditional logic in the forms, but I'm not sure. See if conditional logic here. This fails for you. Okay. And where does it fail? Where are you stuck? It's not working or something here is not working as you wish. Because if you have a, this is not a good example, but if you have something here and you say equals or not like, or if it's a radio button, there's different. If it's select boxes, this all modifies, and then you can show field. This is where you would show the extra ones, right? So you can, and then you could add a new if then, a new if then, and continue to build the logic. Okay, right. Okay, so. But you have this figured out, and so the custom fields equal a certain value. Okay, that's why I was sitting here, because I think this might be. I understand. Okay, good. I think we're on the same page. So where I would probably go from here, Quentin, in the only way that we have right now, I'll give you two scenarios. One is the way we have right now, and two is the way that we plan to move in the future. Okay, and not the distant future, but I'll call it short to medium. Right now, you can use the logic engine to do this. Okay, so what I would do is, okay, here's what I'd do. I'd create an auto template that would say, let's just call it if custom field equals X, then add to circle. Okay. All right, and now what I'm going to do is say add to circle here, and just imagine this is what the row of the contract that you need to show depending on the service. Okay, so now what we're saying is custom field equals X. That's saying that the service is a yes, the service is a go, then add to circle, and we're going to use that circle to reveal the part of the contract that is necessary here. Okay, so let's go ahead and save this. Okay, so now we have it. Now what you can do is use the trigger logic engine. If custom field value, now we're gonna find that custom field X. I don't have a custom field name X, and we're gonna say equals. If this was a drop-down menu or a radio button, it would give you yes or no. Okay, then trigger. So all you're doing now is you're setting condition above the line here. If the logic implied by the conditions above is true, right? And so it's going to constantly look through all of your clients in this case, or you could limit this to specific circles. You could say only the people in whatever circle, depending on your strategy. So this is where the automation power of SuiteDash is constantly not only reacting, but it's scanning for such scenarios. So if custom field value that we talked about earlier equals whatever is the thumbs up for your condition, then trigger this auto template, which in our case we already configured it. Add to circle. Okay, now you're going to save this, and that's it. And you're going to let the world go. And then when that form gets submitted on the schedule, when this detects, which will be very soon after that form is submitted, it will cycle through and see, okay, well, found a client that the custom field value is giving me a thumbs up. Okay, that's true. Now what I do? I execute the automations. Boom, add that client, the one who's true, to a circle. Okay, so now we have the circle assigned automatically, dynamically, based on that logic. And then in let's go to contract, the document template, which I'm actually already there. Let's go here, template. Let me add it. So like I was showing before, what you can do is have a row, an entire row, that contains this information that you only want to show to these people who are in that specific circle now because of their answer to the custom field. And that on the row level is where I would execute this here on the row level. And you're going to go to access and you're going to say only show for circles that we just assigned using that logic. Okay. So in this case, when this document template is called upon to create your document / contract. Document is a generic word, but contracts is the use case that most people use. Yep. Great. All right, good. I'm glad that I was able to onboard what you're trying to accomplish. I think so too, Quentin. Now, good. So when this contract is developed, this row will be shown only if the target who's being targeted with the template, meaning it's being generated for that particular person, only if they fit that description, meaning they have that circle. If they don't have the circle, this row is invisible. It will not be part of the generated PDF. That's why I say use the row, because it's clean, right? If you try to use just a block, the formatting can get pretty messed up. So this will be much cleaner. The other way, Quentin, is that we plan to, right now in kickoff forms or in also in update forms, you have the ability to add what we call a choice block. Okay, and let me show some action here that will help drive this home. For this kickoff form, see how we have unknown targets, settings for, this is all the assignments and automations, for unknown targets and for known targets. So what this means is, if we've seen this person before based on email address, then they're a known target, and this is how we should handle them down here. If we have never seen them, we'll handle in the unknown target section. All these settings will apply. However, when you add a choice block, see all these things down here? Watch what happens when I add a choice block. It all disappears. See, everything below the advanced blocks disappears. Why? Because now the settings are based on the choices. Okay, so now we can say the old bronze, silver, and gold. This can be anything. Which package would you like? Which you get the idea. But I may as well finish just to make it clean. Okay, so now we have 4 choices in the choice block, and clicking here reveals all of the settings for if they choose bronze, right? So now you can separately categorize them based on their choice. So if they are a client, we can assign them to a specific circle based on the choice of bronze. So now we can say, oh, they chose bronze in that form, let's move them to bronze. Or if they chose tax prep, if you're an accountant, let's put them in the tax prep circle. If they chose whatever. That's just one example. All the way down, you can assign a different contract to them because of their choice. You can assign a different email marketing audience, a different project, a different set of shared folders, any number of a different LMS product where they could take a different course or see a different onboarding informational presentation, aka course. There's many ways to use this, and again, understand that each choice has a completely unique and separate set of automations. I didn't say this one right yet. I didn't address this on the first time, Quentin saying not sure that it could work. Exactly. Yep. That's why I didn't, Quentin, because as of now, we only have the ability for this one choice block, and I think in your case, you probably have multiple selections that you're trying to use. So the other route is a little more the other route allows more complexity in the sense that you're trying to build it. And I think you have a really good idea about. You made it a very long way using the tools and understanding the concepts. So good. Thank you. Good. Love it. I love it when people are getting it. So good. But this choice block can work in a way. The only reason we don't have multiple choice blocks, and it's not really a blocker for us anymore, which is hard for me to explain. When we initially built this, the logic here, it seemed like a bad idea to make more than one choice block in a form. And I still think it kind of is a bad idea, but technically we can do it. What it will probably lead to is conflicts in the logic that you design and make it very difficult. So for example, if you added in this one choice block, you added to a circle, and then in the next choice block you removed from the circle, right? We won't be able to it's not practical for us to create super complex validation logic to prevent you from shooting yourself in the foot. Is the best way I can say it. There's so many scenarios, right? They get really messy, and like what we'd spend 6 months out of the year building validations to try to keep you out of trouble, and the truth is we don't really know what you're trying to accomplish. So maybe so we find ourselves like, should we keep them from doing that or should we not? Then we are in these gray areas. So what we typically opt for is to allow you to shoot yourself in the foot if you so choose. The problem is sometimes in these cases that it can fail silently, and that leads you to get frustrated, and there's not really a good way for us to say, well, they didn't mean to do that or they did mean to do that, so now we should send an email and let them know or whatever. So multiple choice blocks, having choice blocks that you can have multiple multiple instances of is possible, and it's something we might get to in the future. And also in conditional logic allow you to show hide choice blocks. Although let me just make sure. Make selection show field. Yeah, it's not here now. Yeah, so this is another option where we would possibly allow the choices on a choice block to reveal choices from another choice block. But again, it can get very complex, and most people don't need it. Is another way to say it. Yeah. Okay. Let me try. And then I know there's another question from I saw it. Somebody else has a question. L. Williams. All right, L. Mr. Williams, Mrs. Williams. I'll just call you William. Let's talk for a minute. Okay, good. I did see this question in the spreadsheet. This one came through. This will be good for us to close with. Good. Okay. And how can I make it so they're stuck on the document until they sign? Stuck on the document until they sign. We only have one construction that will do that, Quentin, that will actually freeze somebody on something, and that's what we call, I don't know that this is the answer for you, but I will put it out there, and that's what we call an onboarding flow. So you see an onboarding flow and an on-demand flow. If you choose an onboarding flow, if you trigger this on a kickoff form, is the only place that you can trigger it for a kickoff form of an unknown target. And the reason is because we enforce this flow as they're entering the portal. So if you configure this on the kickoff form, they'll receive an email, they'll click the link, they'll set their password, and the very next thing they'll see is the flow. And they will not be allowed to continue into the portal until they complete this flow. Now, one of the steps that you can use on the flow is a sign, read and e-sign step. However, this one is a little less powerful. This one's really not designed to be full-on document signing. Okay, I have a new idea. Let me finish this one, and then I'll come back with another one. This isn't really designed to be like, okay, do you agree to our privacy policy? Here's our terms and conditions. Here's some things that you need to agree to before you enter the portal. So, yes, it does present them a signature. Yes, it is does have an audit trail attached to it. Yes, it's listed in the list of completed documents. But the presentation of it, and especially in your case, this show hide row functionality is not built into it. And we may implement a step where we let you use like document templates instead of this edit content. So that may come in the future, but not now. What you could also do, Quentin, is you could let's go to custom menus is the best way I think to illustrate this. You could add them to a circle that says has not signed document yet. Okay. And remember, all this is custom, so it's going to sound a little bit complicated, but you can do it however you want in this case. So if you say has not signed document, that's the circle, or whatever you decide to call it, just so it's clear. Then you can go through here, the entire menu, really the entire menu. You can go one at a time and hide the menu item for that particular circle. And then they would land in the portal, yes. You could create a dashboard that would constantly force them to go to that document, to that document, to that document. And so basically you're just restricting access to every single thing except for there's one thing you can do in the portal, and that is go to this document and sign it. Now it won't lock the screen to the document in the way that I think you might be thinking about, but it will not give them any other path. So you're basically blocking everything. And then when they complete the document, let's go back to document template. So when they sign it, that's what's cool about just for everybody here to understand. See, here's another what we call an automation opportunity. We call these opportunities. They're everywhere in the platform, and they're triggered on what are called completion events. Okay, this is a flow, but let's get back to just to make it really super clear. In the document template, you're going to set up the automations that will be triggered when the document that is generated from this template is, let's not use this one, let's go back. Let's use this one. Manage. So when this thing generates a document, it's going to have automations assigned to that document, and basically it's going to say when this document is fully signed, trigger these automations. And as part of this automation, you're going to say remove from circle has not signed document, the one we talked about earlier. Now they're going to remove. It's going to remove them from this circle, and then maybe you add them to a new circle. That's I'm bad today. Okay, there it is. Then you add them to a circle that will then control the next phase of their journey through your funnel. So by removing them from this circle, now you're saying, okay, now you can see these. Now you can. I'm not hiding all the menu items from you now, but maybe you just want to reveal 2 menu items and use the next circle to accomplish that step. So a lot of times when you are in an automation, you're changing. We call it a circle change, right? You're removing them from one circle, adding them to another circle, and what you're basically doing is you're controlling. I have a good diagram here. Where is it? No, it's here. There it is. You're controlling the stage of their onboarding. So in your case, kickoff form heading to document signing. Okay, and that's not this, but yes. And then yes, the circles are super powerful. Once you start to think about what circle change is, but yeah. So in your case, document signing. This is the stage that you need. When they sign the document, boom, you circle change right here using the automation. Now, the very next time they load the page, new menu, new dashboard, new everything can be completely different now. And boom, then now they come in, okay, next task. I need them to pay the invoice. Okay, lock them down to the invoice if that's what you need. And then, exactly, sir. Thank you, Quentin. My man has been watching the videos. Yes, so quickly, so we're all clear. Quentin has been hanging around YouTube, and I want to point out some videos for Cindy as well. Okay, so let's go to our YouTube channel. Subscribe. I would encourage you to subscribe. We release things all the time. These podcasts, these webinars are recorded and they land here eventually as well. So this is it right here. Behind the scenes at SuiteDash HQ. This one is the one that Quentin is talking about, where we actually show how we use SuiteDash to manage our reseller program and onboard people using this staged circle concept. And it's super powerful because at every step you can completely affect the presentation, the experience. And this is, again, the operating system of your business. Cindy, I think you also really understand. This is the dynamic logic engine we talked about before, and this is the one-click automation trigger, which would be really powerful for the use case that you have as well, Cindy. And then the other one we talked about, I think it was invoice generators. It's in here somewhere. Yeah, right here, invoice generators. I highly recommend this one if you're looking at automating your billing. This one goes through the entire invoice generator. Cindy, this one, the one-click automation trigger, does a little bit of it shows a system where you can use custom fields to create like a credit system. So in your case, if you have maybe consultation sessions, you might be able to use that for this. So it's a custom way to create. We didn't get to the answer. I think I didn't see it. Do you work on the hourly, Cindy, or do you work on sessions like appointments, or just sessions? Okay, gotcha. And you use an appointment scheduler. For that, gotcha. Give me a second. Let me finish here, and I want to explain a couple things that are kind of interesting as well. And I think other people. Oh, but I got to get to Williams here. Okay, good. Let me get this question, and then if I have some time, I want it to discuss some future features. Yeah, that sounds like a creature features they used to call them in the 50s. Okay, so hello, I want to use SuiteDash as CRM media one-stop for our new clients, new video marketing service. Awesome. SMS, text marketing service, and influencer marketing agencies. Okay, good. Okay, so let's talk about L. Can I call you L, or what would be better? Also power ups. I can power ups. Okay, good. L's good. Okay, I can do that. All right. So clearly, L, in your case, you want to have some circles that define each pathway, right? So in your case, marketing, just general video marketing, SMS, and influencer marketing. Cool. So each one of those is a circle. Let's just say it's very simple, A, B, and C in your case, 3 different circles, and you want to create 3 different dashboards, right? So somehow you're going to onboard them with a kickoff form. Maybe use a choice block, as we talked about before, to set the circles and say, are you interested in A, B, or C? Okay, A. We're going to set circle A. We're going to then start to configure your pathway into the platform based on circle A. So that could include some, you want to add them to an email marketing list for sure. You want to create that, an audience. You want to create a few things in advance. You want to kind of map everything out and say, okay, here's what I think I'll need. But that makes it more efficient, but eventually you will get everything built and connected. It depends on how you learn and what you start with, okay? But let's look at dashboards, and I think that's a really easy place to kind of get what we're trying to do here. So you can create a new dashboard for each. Let's create one for you, and we're going to call this one influencer marketing. Okay, we're just going to do it right now. Influencer. Okay, so let's just say you set that circle. So the way these dashboards work is they are shown to a person when they log in based on a priority. So if you want to have a specific dashboard for a specific person, you can do that. And that's the number one priority. So regardless of any of their other affiliations, you can do that. You probably don't want to do that, and I wouldn't recommend it. But if you need to, you can't. What you more likely want to do is say, okay, for everybody who fits this description, influencer marketing, I want to send them to this dashboard. And we're just going to use random circle. Influencer marketing, that's what it says there. Okay? And that's it. And we're going to click save. Now what's going to happen is, barring anybody in that circle being specified individually for a dashboard, which again you probably won't do, when they log in, they're going to land at this dashboard, which you can then preview and see. Now, this is not how you want it to look. I get that. Go to the template library and look through the dashboard templates, and maybe you can start there, or you can build your own. But what's very cool here is, let me go here. And I'm going to go to a portal page now, but it works exactly the same as dashboards. I'm going to go here and show how this can work. So even though you're assigning the dashboard generically to everyone in the circle, when a target, and this is a good example, right? So this is an image powered by the target's profile picture. And all these placeholders are obviously placeholders for the target's first name, last name. Even these charts are powered by data taken from the target's custom field data, right? So even these are powered by custom fields. Cindy, here's another use case for custom fields. So watch what happens. So if I preview this, nothing shows because I haven't shown the preview. It doesn't know what data to show. This is generic to all circles, and these are hard-coded, by the way. But if I go here and I say, you know what? Show me what it will look like when this company logs in. All right, goes to the database. Says, oh, you mean Josie Green, the CEO of Starbucks. And in her custom field value for onboarding progress, we have 100 is the value. And 33 in the value for tax progress, and 75 is showing in the payroll progress for this specific customer. And here's some other dynamic items. Now if we switch to this one, right? So what I'm trying to show you is everybody will see the same dashboard, but everyone will get a unique presentation if you build it the right way. So, for example, you could have credits or however it is you build and use the custom fields to achieve this kind of presentation. And these buttons can be customized, and on and on. It's hard for me to. I can do this for businesses also. Yes, so SuiteDash is built to work around companies or contacts. If you work directly with individuals, you can do that. If you work with companies, you can do that too. And the advantage of that is you can build everything around the company, in this case Springfield Airways, but Waylon Smithers might decide to buy a van and go live down by the river, and then he needs to be replaced by someone else, right? Well, you can do that so easily. You just change the primary contact, but guess what? None of the data goes with Waylon. The new person just it plugs in right in, and in our world, the company is your client, not this person. All they're there for is to represent the company, receive email notifications, log in, take actions on behalf of the company, right? Companies don't have keyboards and mouses. People do, so somebody has to do that. So our system is designed, I think, in an elegant way to allow that. Good, Quentin. I will answer that. Let's get back. I wanted to mention one more thing. Oh, cool. We are in the beginning phases of development on what we call item types. Okay, and one of the first one that will be developed is a time bank item type. And what I mean is that when you create an item, you will choose the type, and it'll say time bank, or I think that's what we called it. I can't remember the actual term. Subject to change. And you're going to say, I think I might have the mock-ups. Give me a second. I told you these things can get a little intimate. Good. Here we go. It's time credit. Okay. All right. So essentially, this is it. Perfect. This is our mock-up for the development. So you would create name, type here. You would choose time credit, and you would say, okay, I want to sell, Cindy, if you're using hours. I want to sell 100 hours in a block to someone for, say, at a discount. We'll just say $40 an hour when you normally charge 65 or 80 or whatever. So what happens then is you offer your clients, hey, you want to buy 50 hours in bulk? It's kind of like the gift card concept, right? Great concept, very profitable, because the statistics are that only like 65% of people even redeem the full value. So it's a good concept, and I know a lot of people want to use it. So I'm going to sell 50 hours for some discounted rate. It will charge them this rate, and then it will create a bank, essentially a database entry for 50 hours. Then when you go to start a timer in our system, and you select the client that you're starting the timer for, regardless of the project, regardless of however, it will show the balance. And then when you click start timer, it will count backwards in reverse. Instead of up, it will count down until it starts to approach 0. And then at some point, you can set it like here it is, send email to so-and-so when the timer reaches 10 minutes or 20 minutes. Hey, you're about to run out of time with this client. Their credit is about to go away. You may want to slow down, or send them an email to get charged back up, or however it works. So you can just continue to, even you can set automations based on this. Is the plan that you can, when the emails when their timer reaches 30 minutes, you can set an automation that will automatically send them an email and generate a new invoice that will allow them to charge it back up. So it can be self-recharging without you chasing the client. Yeah, it's cool, right? And then additionally, the same concept, the next one we'll build here is appointment type item types. Okay, so imagine then we say add item, choose type, appointment type. Okay, choose appointment type. In your case, Cindy, right? You'll say standard consulting. Okay, and then you'll say, okay, how many sessions do you want to offer? And you'll say, and the sessions are defined, all the length and everything is defined in the appointment type. But you'll say, oh yeah, I want to offer 5 sessions for $500, whatever it is. Then they buy 5 sessions, and guess what? Then, when they're trying to book, they'll see it as long as they have credit. If they have a 0 credit, they won't see it. They won't be able to book it, or it will just, or maybe they'll see it, but it'll be grayed out, or maybe they'll see it, it'll say, sorry, your credit's gone. And these can be added into any standard invoice or any standard shopping block, which we're developing now, so that you'll be able to, or a package, so you'll be able to, in the end, these item types, there will be LMS item types, etc. You'll be able to sell a package with, okay, I want to sell a package with 40 hours of work, access to these 3 LMS courses, and 5 appointment types of this or that, right? As a package, and you'll sell it. And maybe you'll add like a subscription or something like that. And they'll purchase it, and then automatically all the associations and assignments will happen based on the items or package that they've chosen. We are working down this road as a priority. I would think but think in terms of months. I do not want to be overly positive here, but it's going to be a progression. But what we are working towards aggressively now, and just to say it in the best possible way I can say it, SuiteDash consists of, it's easy, you can count them, 15 different toolkits. Each one of those toolkits is a software niche that has a whole host of competitors in it that only have to concentrate on one of those toolkits, right? We're building 15, interactive and integrated with automations. One triggers the other, So I say that to just illustrate the complexity and scope of the work that we have. So yes, it's going to take a little longer. Yes, we move a little slower. Maybe a lot of people don't think that, but I say that to say this, that I lost my train of thought there. I was reading your feedback. Oh, okay. So as we have been building all these toolkits, that's a foundational layer, a foundational concept, and foundational work. What we're aggressively moving towards now is the first stage of what we call the weaving phase, which is, let's take all these toolkits that we have and start to enable the easy application to the end user, meaning this idea of a public landing page with a shopping block, which I referenced earlier, which will essentially be like, okay, on your admin side, you'll say, okay, from this shopping block, they should be able to choose from items A, B, C, and D. And if they choose item B, they can choose add-ons X and Y. Very complex logic that allows you to create custom offers that on the other side, your targets can say, yes, I would like to choose B, and I want to add on X, and then I would also like this, and the numbers are changing right in front of them, and they're shopping. They just feel like, hey, this is awesome. And then they can check out, they can pay, and everything gets applied to their account properly. Circles are applied, therefore dashboards are assigned, and all these other things that we've talked about previously. But the beauty of that is now you would have the ability to make an offer that includes appointments, LMS, timers, projects, all the things that are throughout our platform and available. You can now sell them all as a package and control access to them all in one platform and deliver them all in one platform as a result of the work that was done foundationally ahead of that. So it's exciting to be in this place now. It doesn't mean, unfortunately, I can't say you can do this right this second. It will take some time, and like I said, and think in terms of months. But in a relative point of view, it's not that far away. In our development evolution, it's not that far away, considering how far we are already. People say that all-in-one software can't work. They say that all-in-one software can never be as good as niche specific software, and maybe that's true. But what if it is? Right? What will happen when it is? Because it will be. Then what will people say? They'll say, oh, well, okay. And also, right, I mean, look at every piece of niche specific software out there that has a depth of functionality that's very deep. Photoshop is a really good example. If anybody's ever been exposed to Photoshop, it's incredibly deep. You cannot ever, you could study it for years and you still don't know things about it. 95% of people use 5% of the functionality, right? Exactly. Even look at any niche specific software that has continued to develop. They've developed sort of very sort of one-off tools that maybe you'd use, maybe you don't. Most people just need the big chunk of what's available, right? And so our goal has always been, let's provide the big 80% of what's there in that niche. Let's get it where it's usable, it's good. Does it stand up one-to-one with a niche specific software? No, we're making 15. But after we make the 15, we continue to level up and polish. We'll eventually expand the circle of acceptability to more and more and more people. And based on the feedback from our community, we expand that circle in the direction of the feedback of our community. Then over time, we will be able to say, yes, this person it's sufficient. It's sufficient. Until we arrive at the place where, there's a revolution, and you can even see it now. I think you go anywhere looking around the internet, the term all-in-one has become ubiquitous. When we first started, no one was using that. I have really no problem saying I really, really, honestly, truly believe we were the OG in this space, and we've been working at it in the background for a very long time. And you'll notice that too if you come into SuiteDash with developed ideas about how a CRM should work, or how an X should work, how a Y should work. You might get a little bit roadblocked because you might think, well, it's supposed to work like this. Well, yeah, in a non-sophisticated, non-automated platform, maybe it should work like that. But if you back up and just take a second and absorb the logic and the elements that are built here, and understand why they're that way, you'll then start to see, okay, well, I get it now. Maybe it's because they want to enable this. This is the magic right here. We literally get emails from people who say, I don't know what to do with the rest of my day now, because I used to spend the day doing things manually, admin work. Now what I do is I come in the morning or whenever, and I assess my human interactions, right? The things that I need to look at that came out of an automation. They came off this automation slide. Now they're in my wheelhouse. I make my decisions. I trigger the auto templates that I designed, and I basically kick them that issue right back out the door, right back onto this slide, and then I go away. I kick all the issues back on this slide, and then I come back tomorrow morning. And yes, it's not that simple, but this is the concept, and there's no doubt about that. It can streamline your business dramatically over time. Can you build all of this in one day? Probably not. And you probably will get it wrong. What you should be thinking of is, let's build the first one, okay? And then let's think about, how can I make that go? How can I make that go? How can I make this better? And you layer and you layer and you layer. If you do that for 12 months, if you give yourself 12 months, and I know that sounds like a long time, but you'll be gaining efficiency all the way, one step at a time. And then what's great about when you develop this, right? You can easily train someone to handle this checkpoint decision, right? Maybe you can't train someone to do all that busy work and admin work, but guess what? If you built all the templates, and you built all the generators, and you build all the things that are going to be created as a result of the automations, that's your hand. You've done it. You know it's there. Now all you have to do is train someone to look at this scenario and decide what auto template should be triggered, and then show them how to do it. And that's it. So maybe you don't have to show up every day. Maybe you can take 3 weeks off. And have someone step in and assess your scenarios and trigger the right auto templates. And maybe it won't be that simple, but hey, anything we can get is better than 100% manual, and that's what I want to encourage you for. Yeah. Okay, Cindy says planning ahead here, and I want to go back. I said I would answer one more thing, and then I think I'm going to try to go July 4th here. I'm currently not subscribed to any powers. Do you offer lifetime subscription powers? Well, Cindy, if you hang around long enough, you might see something like that. Yeah, that's all I can say. Occasionally, that has been known to happen, but it's not an all the time thing. It's a occasionally time. Yeah, check your email. Yeah, exactly. Check your email. I believe you would see an offer if you've been getting emails from us recently. There's a bonus offer for a life your choice of. Yep. So L is correct. One more thing. I also heard things about ticketing system. Okay. Good. So Quentin, that's correct. Support tickets is on the verge. On the verge. In matter of weeks. Think in terms of weeks here. 2-3 weeks. The only thing that would make it go longer than that is just something that was somewhat unpredictable, which can happen. So if it does happen, I apologize, but my expectation is in 2 or 3 weeks right now. We're just putting some final touches on that, developing email templates, making sure that everything is correct there, doing a lot of testing. And then chat with clients. Yes. Chat with clients is maybe this week even, Quentin. That one has been in development heavily for the past, say, 2 months. And the reason the development is not like a full-on, hey, well, let's just turn on the switch. In fact, it would be really easy for us to turn on the switch because every user is in the chat. We intentionally don't show the clients. Why? Because you don't want that. You don't want your clients to have a 24/7 pipe to knock on your door over and over anytime they want. So the complication as far as the development time is around these controls for, okay, I want to allow these clients to access this person or that person or this circle of people, or I want them to be able to only message them at me after I message them. And then if there's no activity, I want them to shut that down after 12 hours. The idea is this, to selectively and as needed, open the pipe to have communication with that client in an efficient way that's not email, that's not anything else. Or if you can even say, just meet me in the chat at this time or something like that. Anyway, real-time communication that you can turn on and off, that you can control a little bit, have some semblance of control. Now, if you want to turn it all on, the controls do allow you to do that. But more importantly, they allow you to not do that. And that's the way it can be useful. So I hope that answers your question, Quentin. Yep. Chat with clients. It's almost there. Okay. Any other questions that I can help with? Dominique, I see you here. I hope it was helpful for you. And others, I see you. I hope that it was helpful. But thank you guys for asking questions and giving feedback. Gives us something to move around. Thank you, Cindy. You too. You too. And Quentin, maybe you could just make one account called Help Desk and assign that to all clients. How do you mean, Quentin? You mean for your clients or our customers? Thank you, Dominique. I hope it was helpful. You can come back anytime, guys. These are Tuesday and Thursday. You can come anytime. You can come as many times as you want. So this is a place you can come and ask questions all the time. And have multiple employees get these chats. Well, look at our remote chat capability. And also, yes, Quentin, this can happen as well. These multiple chats. I don't think I have the mock-ups for this that I could show you, but I hope that even this week you might notice that is ready, and I hope we'll have a fresh on live this week. Possibly not because of some vacation days and things that are happening with staff, But very soon we'll be announcing those things. Yeah. Okay. All right. Thanks, everyone. Happy 4th of July. If it's not 4th of July, well, it is 4th of July. If it's not a holiday where you are, just try to relax a little bit anyway on our behalf and enjoy. Have a great rest of your day. Thank you. See you guys later. All right. Sure, Quentin. And congratulations. You are on the ball, buddy. Keep it up. All right. Thanks. See you guys. Bye.